Southeast Showdown, sponsored by Jim Hudson Automotive Group.
Good evening. The SEC championship did not go in favor of the Georgia Bulldogs, as you likely saw on CBS earlier this evening. But what happens next? What did Coach Kirby Smart say after losing the longest winning streak in SEC football history? We're live from Atlanta with sports director Dan Booth and Alyssa Lyons after a painful possible end to Georgia's college football playoff hopes.
The two-time defending national champion Georgia Bulldogs came into this year's SEC championship game against Alabama with an opportunity to win their 30th game in a row and have the inside track to the college football playoff.
Dan, when you pit two of the best coaches in college football against each other, it leads for a game that'll leave you on the edge of your seat.
The Benz was rocking with red as far as the eye can see, preparing to explode for a matchup between two teams and two coaches that have a lot of history. Let's get to the first quarter. The Dogs struck first after having zero problem moving the ball down the field. Kendall Milton gets the handoff, finds a hole, and cruises into the end zone, making it 7-0 Dogs early. But after that score, a turnover, a missed field goal, and the inability to stop the run helped the Tide get rolling. Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe threw 2 touchdowns in the second, including this one to Jermaine Burton right before the half, sending the Dogs into the break down by 10. Let's fast forward to the fourth. Georgia's still down by 10, but Carson Beck throws his body across the goal line on the QB sneak, cutting the deficit to 3. However, moments later, Alabama drove the length of the field in the blink of an eye, answering with a touchdown of their own, extending their lead 27-17. With a perfect season on the line and less than 5 minutes to go, Beck throws a laser to Brock Bowers, who makes a diving catch inside the 10. It's 4th down on the goal line, and Kirby once again calls on Kendall Milton, who forces his way in for the score, keeping Georgia's hopes alive, 27-24. But when it mattered most, the Dogs couldn't stop the Crimson Tide running game, allowing Milroe to run out the clock on the two-time defending national champions. Georgia falls to Alabama in the SEC championship game, 27-24, bringing their perfect season to an end.
We had a few things on offense that we kind of just gave them. I think on defense we had some things that we kind of just gave them as well, as far as just not executing. And that's just how it goes at football. At the end of the day, when you have two evenly matched teams, the margin for error is much smaller.
It's been a great little streak. You know, it's been a while, but you can't win them all at the end of the day. So I know my Dogs. Like, I could feel the hurt in the locker room. I could feel how seriously it impacted not even just the seniors, but even the guys under me like that. So I know how seriously we took it, and I know at the end of the day, my team's going to get back to work.
The offense was just not as strong as we're used to seeing. Offensive lineman Amarius Mims left early from an ankle injury. Receiver Robert Thomas was seen on crutches, and where they hurt the most and they paid for it was lineman Tate Ratledge. Weapons Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey were not 100%.
It's tough, guys, when Brock Bowers doesn't practice for 15 days and Ladd doesn't practice for 15 days and they try to go out in the game. Timing and rhythm is critical. They've been in rehab every morning. They wanted to play so bad against Tech, and they couldn't. And they were going to be close today, and they're out there limping around, not 100%, but the game matters to them. The team matters to them.
Bama's upset causes some chaos when it comes to the playoffs. And the Dogs, well, they don't want to be left out.
To come into this game and not finish the way that we wanted to, and kind of leave the destiny of our team in someone else's hands rather than us handling it ourselves. That's hard, but at this point it's out of our control.
We didn't win, so I mean that's the bottom line. We had our opportunity to make our case. We didn't win the game. So whether or not they put us in is up to them.
Head coach Kirby Smart isn't beating around the bush when it comes to the deciding committee.
Look, Bill Hancock said, it's not the most deserving. He said, simply, it's the best 4 teams. So if you're going to tell me somebody sitting in that committee room and doesn't think that Georgia team's not one of the best 4 teams, I don't know if they're in the right profession.
Coming into championship weekend, the two-time defending national champion Georgia Bulldogs were one of the 8 teams that had a legitimate chance to make it into the college football playoff this year. And now, with tonight's loss, you end up having a situation where the future of their season and whether or not they're going to have a chance to three-peat is now in the hands of the committee.
So what we know is that they're going to watch that decision tomorrow.